and I'll call this work session of the mayor and council to order. First, going over our regular scheduled meeting. You all received a copy of the announcements. Pledge the flag will have Cub Scout Caps 568 tonight. And then ceremonial matters, you guys should have all received an email. Ms. Burke did receive a certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting. This was the first year the city of Snellville had applied for that award, and Ms. Burke received it, which is something that's unheard of. So that was a tremendous job done by Ms. Burke, and we'll present her with the award tonight. Then we have several teachers of the year that will be honored. I think y'all are all signing the proclamations now. Some of them will be here, and some of them will listen to them today. Didn't realize today was a school holiday, so some of them will be here and some will not. Does anybody have any questions or objections to the last minutes for September 24th? Mr. Ewing will be here tonight to give us a soundbite. And we will have a department report from Mr. Williams on the Planning Commission. We have Nedra Bailey. You all received her application 2 meetings ago, and we have her nomination tonight to the Art Commission. Does anybody have any objections to Ms. Bailey on the consent agenda? Last time we were here, we talked about we had a first reading on the alcohol beverage ordinance. We talked about amending that so that it would be prorated if a business comes into the city during the middle of the year. It would make the due date for the alcohol fee March 31st, which will coincide with the occupational business license, and that will make it a little easier on the businesses so that they don't have to pay that at the end of the year. And I believe Mayor Pro Tem Woods asked for a comparison of other cities' fee schedules, and so Mr. Powell has prepared that for us tonight. Does anyone have any comments or discussion for the alcohol ordinance?
Did we actually determine the proration rates?
Yes. It's daily, 365.
Okay, so that's what we talked about. I didn't know if that's what was finally decided.
Yes.
Any other questions? Anything to add to that?
I have nothing to add to the resolution tonight, although just getting this, I'd like to review it and maybe come back and.
Yeah, that's for information only. There's no action.
Right, but I mean, we may want to come back and adjust the licensing fee once we look at this, or maybe we won't. I mean, I have no idea at this point.
I think in briefly looking through it, Snellville was the lowest or one of the lowest in every category, so.
We call that a clue.
Yep. Call that while we want to report.
Well, we also have tonight a first reading on the racetrack zoning, so we'll have just a motion to waive the first reading and place it on our October 22nd calendar. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Davis about this racetrack for tonight? Not because that looks so, not me. Our new business, the Wi-Fi for City Hall, we had postponed that to tonight's meeting on our last agenda. Mr. Sanders, you have an update on that?
That's still being worked on. We have reduced that initial proposed cost greatly. We have one item left to price, and that is some work on our roof. We don't want to do anything that puts our warranty in jeopardy, so we're going to make sure we have an approved contractor. And when I get that last little number, I'll send out, notify everybody and let you know what that is, but it will be much less than half of where we were before. So,
Why is that?
Because we bid it.
just, we just sat down and we realized that some of the numbers could change from the vendor. Melissa did a good job negotiating with, I guess, it's not, DC3. So I really think everybody's gonna be satisfied with the final number, and it's gonna be a good service that we're providing.
So it sounds like we went from approximately 8,000 to 4,000.
And probably less than that, I'd say.
Yeah, tremendous job, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank Melissa.
Thank you, Melissa.
Well, I was just wondering, because, you know, we had such assurances before that what we were getting was within line, and now we're half that price.
Well, I think there were just, there's always, ways to discuss and, work with vendors, and I think we found a good way to do it.
Good,
And
appreciate your
We're not using, before, I think some of the figures included a separate server, whereas this time, with the community ones, that,
No, it's still the same, so we're just kind of restructuring how we're gonna provide the service.
right, but before we were looking at two separate servers, is that right?
Services.
Services.
Two different services in one server.
No,
It was a separate service from the,
the savings is coming in how the wireless service is gonna be structured within the building.
Very
It's
good.
the access points and things, we're still gonna have the same hardware.
Good,
There it
save
will
the
be.
taxpayers $5,000.
It will be a secure service.
Yeah, well, that's what I was curious about.
Consideration and action for the bid for the stormwater projects, Mr. Sanders.
We have a number of projects that we feel like were properly bid and responded to by very, I guess, vendors that we could trust. We've done work with most of them, if not all of them, before. And in reviewing the bids, we have a list of a proposal for the mayor and council to approve tonight, all within budget, and definitely needed projects. And I would, if you have any questions about that, we'll try to answer those. But I think that it was a good process, open. Everybody had a chance, and in this instance, what we did, we took separate bids on all the projects. We didn't lump everything together, which gave, I think, probably some smaller contractors a chance to get in the game. I think Gay and Craig are very, very satisfied with what we've got, as I am also, and I think we're ready to proceed.
And you're throwing out ISC because they really haven't done this kind of work before.
That's correct. There were some red flags there.
Any questions for Mr. Sanders or for Craig? The sculpture for the community garden, I believe John Duke and Miss and Deborah sent out a new drawing with that. Did everybody receive that? You know, did that go out for you? Any further discussion on that item?
well, I will say that looking at the drawing,
Isn't it any better?
it's not something that I would consider art. However, I have complete confidence in John Duke and Deborah that the final product will be much improved over what we're seeing in the drawing. I mean, they're artists. They're not going to put something out that would embarrass themselves or us. So, you know, I have no pride. I think that the rendering is less than what I'd like to see. But again, I think that because I know those people and because I know that their skill level and also their pride, I'm sure it'll be something that we're going to like.
Consideration action on order abatement of property located at 1947 Emerson Lake Circle.
And I didn't recognize that number, but to update you on the ones I do have.
Would you like me to tell them about it?
Yeah, you fire away.
For once, I actually know something.
We were wondering where that number came from.
Okay, 1947 Emerson Lake Circle is a house that we've been tracking for about a year. And we've been trying to track down who the owners actually are to get it cleaned up. We've apparently made some headway, and some people have started doing something out there. But I wanted, if I could, get you all to act on this nuisance abatement, very much like we did North Road. If they continue to work on the house, all is right with the world, and I won't need this, but I'd like this in my back pocket, just to make sure that it happens. So it's not a,
When did we just start seeing action on it?
We started seeing some action on it a couple of weeks ago, but it's been kind of a little bit of work, nothing, a little bit of work, nothing. And it's been one of these things where it's foreclosed. Somebody somewhere in North America possibly owns it. We're just having a little trouble tracking them down.
You're such an optimist, John.
Well, I try hard. But I'd like to have this in my back pocket if we have any problems with them not proceeding.
You wanna
Yeah,
jump in on
yeah,
this?
the others, there's 2615 Governor's Walk. That one's probably our worst in Governor's Walk. Superior Court has granted our intervention for injunctive relief, so we have the ability to go to the Superior Court asking them for an order to tear it down. That was our target. And we have to get permission to allow that counterclaim. They've given us that permission. The other side, which is a Myriad, who's not the current owner but bought the tax bill on the property, has said they believe it can be fixed up. They want an opportunity to do that. So we pursued it also in our municipal court last week. I got a consent agreement that they have 90 days in which to do that. They've already gone in and secured the lower floor, boarded up the windows so that it's less accessible than it was before.
Right, septic up to the second level now?
That's right, that's right. They've at least stepped up and taken personal control over the property as the claimant in the Superior Court case.
Well,
So
they touched it now, so it's, they've gone in and done something.
that's right. Everybody's in play. The Roswell Holdings Group also was in court saying that they were in agreement with a 90-day fix-up time period. The others, there were two others, 2548 Governor's Walk. That group is under a shorter 14-day cleanup period. It's in better shape. We gave them a list that they had to complete within that time period. They will report back to the judge. 2950 Summit Ridge and 1740 Meta Chase Court. Both of those are under order of the court. One has been substantially cleaned up with the exception of a painting of a rail. So we had one party that came in response to our municipal court action and actually cleaned it up. The other one is most likely a foreclosure unrecorded that it's one of those instances where, and we got no movement on it.
One of them, so you don't have to walk into the courthouse and.
His SunTrust Bank is the bank involved, so we're trying to make contact with the party who would be the holder of the deed under power of sale. So the other party called and said it's not us and we're not coming. It's already been foreclosed on. So we
Don't we have a business relationship with SunTrust?
yes we do. Yes we do. Yes we do.
On that first one, is there a criteria that they have to meet? They just can't come in and say it's fixed and it's really not?
They have to meet the building code and an inspection by our planning department. The good news is that it's sort of a burden to get set up, and we're set up. It's the pleadings, it's the clerk's office, it's understanding how the nuisance. The judge, it went magnificently for the first four, and the parties responded all really well. Now, we probably upped the ante to about 8 per court session. We think that's about what the volume ought to be.
And that was probably just the quality of our representations on that.
Well, I appreciate that confidence, but it was the quality of the court is what it was. You had a good group of folks that were easy to work with, so.
That concludes our regular scheduled meeting, and then for the work session, review correspondence. That's technically I could talk about the doing under correspondence.
Under mine, that's me, correspondence.
Any correspondence that you receive? Any correspondence?
No.
City attorney's report?
You want to talk about it under these?
No, I'll do it at the end, it's fine.
I don't have anything other than the Summit Chase Dam.
Okay. Discussion items, the staff report, we asked Mr. Powell to look into transferring the ownership of the URA, the police building to the URA.
And we're still of the opinion that URA doesn't have the same ability to transfer by negotiated sale. It's probably, not, there are ways that you could structure, but it would be manipulating the the system. I'm not real comfortable with what I've heard described. And DDA has the ability to do what, it's not a DDA overlay district. You know, the remedy is to expand your district. Yeah, that, yes.
Well, I mean, my concern is that we're 20 months out of that building now. Nothing has been done.
Right.
It's sitting there. It's an asset that is withering as we speak. We need to do something about it. If that means that we need to get the DDA's expansion, then that's what we have to do. But I mean,
Why don't we give staff an opportunity to look at it and try to do something with it, and then if we need to come
That's
back and
fine.
expand the DDA?
I would like to go on an inspection when you go.
Well, I just had the opportunity this week to do that with
Oh,
the
okay.
chief. And, yes, any building that's sitting there vacant is, subject to not being in as good a shape as it is presently.
My concern is that we can get mold in there, and we have another, you're gonna have a remediation of that, you know, before you can even put it up for sale. I mean, you know, it's not gonna get any better than it is today.
And there are definitely different sections of that building, some in better shape than others. But it's clear to me, and I think the chief is in agreement, that we don't need all of that property for the impound lot. I think we could cut off a lot of valuable property and put it in that parcel with the building, as long as we maintain the cell tower lease area, as well as enough for our volume of cars on the, I guess that would be the west side of the property, chief? Probably.
Southwest.
Southwest side.
Southwest side. Well, over there.
Yeah,
where
probably
the
the south
parking
side.
lot's
You
kinda
mean, you
come
mean
out.
over
Southwest side.
Southwest
on the
side.
Hewitt side, going towards Hewitt.
Yes, but I think there would be a valuable piece there. I'm not sure it would ever come close to meeting that initial appraisal. You might have to have another appraisal done once you have the property surveyed. But if we have a clear direction to move with the DDA, we'll find out how
Well,
we.
y'all are just trying to market the property, and there, you have a whole lot of options in terms of marketing. It's just the sales process that you get restricted of. And so, you know, it's staff can post a sign, or you can hire an agent under certain circumstances.
Well, and that was gonna be my question, is what options for marketing is available? Because to me, that's kind of the first step in the process, is we have to market what we have.
You know, I would certainly
Yeah, we'll
do the.
Sell it and worry about how to do it later.
Post a sign and listing, you know, you just wanna negotiate, you know, you can bid the process of agent if you choose to. Just depends on how you compensate the agent who is representing you. That can be for sale, be posted with a sign and let your staff people show it, just like the URA would do. I mean, it wouldn't be any different from what they would be
So, I
doing.
mean, there's some,
So let's put it back on an agenda, let's give staff an opportunity, to come up with the, oh, mine just went blank, what did you
The
just do?
first, the first step is to survey it.
Right, what do you
Survey,
need, what do
thank
you need from council to survey and break out the parcel that you wanna keep, so that we know the parcel we're gonna sell? I mean, that's the first thing, is to survey the two plots,
You give
correct?
us to go ahead to survey it?
We need, is that something we need to bring up in new business, under new business?
That will be something we'll need to authorize, we'll have to actually authorize the cost of that, the expense for that.
It should be well under $500, I would think.
For a commercial piece of property, it might be 5, 6.
Yeah, but it's not $1,000, I wouldn't think.
Let's put that on our next agenda, and if staff can come up with an action plan, what needs to be done, the survey, if we need a reappraisal, and what the cost will be of those different things, and then council can consider what they want to do.
Mayor, I don't know if we'd reappraise it until we had an offer on it, you know what I mean, at that
I'm
point, you know.
I want staff to come up with what they think needs to be done, and then council can consider that.
Are we using that property for anything at this point, currently, today?
Still cars there.
For an impound facility. There are what, maybe 20 vehicles down there?
Maybe that. Is this something that we're gonna continue to use in the future? Is this part of the assessment that you're trying to
It
do?
does save us money, as opposed to paying a storage fee on a wrecker lot. And sometimes, chief, like the chief said, sometimes it could be weeks if not months, before a case is disposed of. So that
Storage
adds up.
could be worth more than the vehicle by the
Right.
time.
But I looked at it, it's a very big parking lot there. I mean, it's.
We don't need but just a very small part over on the side.
We'll sell as much as we can.
So if we can put that on our next work session, then for feedback from staff. Moving on then to the jetback truck lease purchase for stormwater. I know several of y'all were out there. And I drove by and I think I saw Mayor Pro Tem Witz looking in the ditch or the, whatever it was.
I was impressed.
I don't think there's any doubt that that is the vehicle that we need. And we're gonna use those specs, but we are going to put out a RFP to bid the truck. And I know Craig and Gay probably don't wanna hear that, but, that is the, gonna be, I think we're gonna obtain the best price. And, so we're ready to do that this week.
Well, our original budgeted amount was
265?
265, 220, 220, I think it was, 220.
And so how long will it take to do the RFP?
It'll go out this week and we'll have a response back in 15 days.
Tell you what, I was very impressed with the unit.
So we'll look for something back from y'all sometime in November, maybe then.
Sure.
So we don't need to take any action. Does anybody have any comments or any changes, any problems that they observed during the,
It's an amazing piece of equipment.
Well, can someone elaborate about this amazing piece of equipment? What are we buying, what are we considering to buy?
It's a jetback truck that can go to work on stopped up storm drains, catch basins, where right now we have to put 2 men and a shovel in a hole. This vehicle in an hour and a half cleaned out the catch basin that would have taken us all day or more. And it, just as it says, I mean, it vacuums and it also sprays. There's a high pressure hose on there and awful lot of stormwater and street purposes. So, and it really is time to upgrade, I think, with this piece of equipment.
It's a rainbow on steroids. Everybody's familiar with the rainbow?
I wouldn't believe it, but I didn't see it.
I tell you what, I mean, it's going to be an amazing piece of equipment once we get it implemented.
Well, it will enable us to work a lot
It's gonna save a lot
smarter
of
and
money.
quicker.
Yeah, it's a long.
And Rich, I gotta commend you, having that demonstrating, have those out there, because I know several of us were skeptical, even though we passed this thing, we were skeptical about that piece of equipment. But going out there that day and having the opportunity to see it, I mean, anyone who had any skepticism whatsoever, it was put to bed when they stood there and watched that piece of equipment work. So I commend you for that.
Don't
I
buy
hope we do that in
anything
the
unless you
future.
demo it and see it, and especially if it's something that you want, and you think you got the right specs. And I appreciate Craig coming in on a vacation day to participate in that.
And we have how many storm drains in the city?
Roughly about 2,200 to 28, roughly, with junction boxes
Okay, you
included.
can do about 6 a day, it's not a problem.
Doesn't include 32.
And council, this is not something that we have to do volunteer, it's a mandate. I mean, it's a federal and state mandate that we
Clean our storm drains.
do stormwater like this, so.
Well, that storm drain that we did hadn't seen a lot of, like, that cover hadn't been off, I wouldn't think, since the day that the road was put in.
That was a bad one.
That was about.
That's the one you want to see that truck.
Exactly
work on.
right. That's amazing.
That was, there's 8 to 10 feet of accumulation.
Just accumulation and sludge. I mean, it was incredible.
Yes, ma'am.
Question. The city of Loganville came out and did this on their time, correct? Is there anything we can do to say thanks?
We've taken them a little bit of
Some of the dirt.
thank you. We'll, we followed up, but
That's all I need to know.
it's something that has been, it's good that cities share things like that.
Absolutely.
I think they want to come over and see our recycling facility.
Dates for special called work session for the